If you're a subscriber to this channel, then you know this channel is all about NBA history, as that is my passion and that is what I love to cover. So with that being said, I see it as my own personal responsibility to make sure you guys don't forget about certain players throughout NBA history. Or maybe you never knew about these players in the first place. So let me take you back in time, as we look at 4 players who were the real deal, but no one talks about anymore. First off, Michael Redd. This 6'6" shooting guard played the majority of his time with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was a smooth lefty with a pristine handle and with a killer jump shot. What I remember about this guy is that he was an absolute sniper, and the very definition of a walking bucket. He was great for quite a while in the NBA, but he was really stellar in the 05-06 season, where he averaged 25 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, while shooting 45% from the field, 40% from three-point range, and he was making 88% of his free throws. This guy had a remarkable aim, and if you were not careful defending him, he could put up a lot of points in a hurry. And the Utah Jazz learned that the hard way, when he dropped 57 points on them in November of 2006.
Redd, yes, and one with that kind of play. Michael Redd has 40.
Going, don't let them get away. How about it?
Quarter. Michael Redd has 51. The last Bucks player to score 50 or more in a game, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Aaron Williams tied up Redd on the breakout. Michael catches, shoots, 3. Yes! Michael Redd, 57 points, a Bucks record.
Another player who was deadly around that same time frame was Danny Granger. This guy was a 6'9" small forward, and he had all the skills. He had a slow start to his NBA career, but when his ascension began, it happened fast. He became the first player in NBA history to lift his scoring by at least 5 points per game in 3 consecutive seasons. He was incredibly gifted as a shooter and as a slasher. With his skills, with his frame, and with his ability to be a 3-dimensional scorer, he really reminded me of a prime Tracy McGrady. His only All-Star season was in 2009, and he was an absolute beast that year, as he averaged 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, while hitting 45% of his shots, 40% of his threes, and 88% of his free throws. During one stretch specifically that season, he had 3 consecutive games with at least 35 points. So there was no doubt that he was becoming a premier scorer in this league.
Going up on 3 minutes to play. His second 3 ball.
Granger gets 3 right back.
Unbelievable. And Granger has it. Catch, shoot. Count it. And a foul. Jazz have come up empty on 8 straight possessions. Granger. Oh! Maybe McRoberts is going to bring the house down with that big hammer. Granger, 3. Got it. He's flirting with 40. He's got 38 on the night on the dribble against CJ. Contact, put it up and in. There's 40. 40.9 for Granger.
Now understand, this all happened at the young age of 25, so it seemed like his best days were still ahead of him, and the sky was the limit. Unfortunately, he did end up becoming a bit of a what-if, since a torn ligament in his foot and several knee issues hindered his ability to reach his full potential. Another player who was absolutely lethal during his playing days was the 6'5" small forward Adrian Dantley. To put it simply, this Hall of Famer is easily one of the most underrated scorers in the history of the game, as he won 2 scoring titles and made 6 All-Star teams. For his career, he averaged 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, while hitting a ridiculous 54% of his shots. That's right, a 6'5" small forward averaged 24 points for a career while hitting 54%, which is a rate of efficiency that even great centers can only dream of. But it was his peak with the Utah Jazz that was especially insane, as he averaged at least 30 points per game in 4 consecutive seasons. And over that time, he was making a ridiculous 56.4% of his shots. Now let me make this clear. Although this guy was an incredible scorer, I wouldn't describe his game as flashy. He was just crafty, methodical, and intelligent. He was almost exclusively a mid-range scorer, but with his stellar footwork and with his incredibly high release point on his jump shot, he could basically get a good look at will. And it's why he ended up becoming one of the greatest and most efficient scorers the game has ever seen. And the last guy to talk about on this short list is the 6'6" shooting guard Brandon Roy. This guy is a major what if, as he was barely reaching his mid-20s by the time he started having significant injuries. But at one point, Kobe Bryant himself said that Brandon Roy was the most difficult player to guard in the Western Conference. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2007, but by 2009, he was an MVP candidate, averaging 23 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, while hitting 48% of his shots, 38% of his threes, and 82% of his free throws. But one thing that people often don't remember about this guy is not only did he have a great handle, and not only was he a great pull-up shooter, but his ability to create his own shot and knock down clutch buckets at will was absolutely incredible to say the least. Without question, he was one of the most clutch players in the game, as he was constantly making big shots in fourth quarters and in overtimes. Unfortunately, most of you guys probably know this story, as his knees absolutely betrayed him and destroyed any hopes he had of longevity. Well before he even reached his 30th birthday, he had played his final game in the NBA. So it may have been brief, and it may have only been just a moment in time, but for at least a little bit, these guys were box office, and unfortunately, they're rarely talked about in basketball discussions nowadays. Who do you think is a player that fits this criteria? I look forward to hearing your suggestions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.